Hello future tech leaders, I'm Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. At CloudFoundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
The next process in supply request process, even as I mentioned yesterday, it will be on accessing the supply registration. How that we are going to do today's session. After supply request is created, then that is called local vendor. That means the supplier is only available within our network or our account only. He is not. We have not communicated with him. Now we are going to start communicating with him using supplier request. Registration. The step will be invite button on supplier 360-degree. Where is that degree? 360-degree. Let's take to the report screens. Go into the home page. This is a place where you are going to see home page. I believe by this time you should be familiar with dashboard. Going into the supply management. Now, yesterday I have created one supplier, but what is the email address I have mentioned? Even if I try to log in, I will not able to do that for the same reason. I have created one more supplier with the same detail, Ariba seller. I'm opening that. I have approved the requested status. Now I want to see the sub. By clicking on this, at this stage, vendor has been created with only SMND, which is nothing but a rebus, internal difference number for a supplier IDs. It will give a temporary ID which is created once it is get communicated with the ERP thing. This ID will be updated whatever the real vendor which you are having in your ERP system. SMND also is again. This is an internal Ariba contact ID. Ariba ID only where to establish the relation. This will be used as a link. On the left hand side you are seeing supplier request. This is the place where whatever the form which we have filled, the details will be available here. Registration. We're going to start now by clicking on the registration button. Now you will be seeing an option called invite. By clicking on the invite, you will also see what is the other one, internal registration. Even at this stage, also don't want to send it to the supplier. You want to fill the details on your own and onboard him and send him a username and password. Then you can use start internal registration. Or if you want to send it to the outside, you have to use invite button by clicking on invite. Confirm questionnaires to send. At this stage also, we are going to send a questionnaire to the supplier to fill in certain details. What this questionnaire? External supplier questionnaire. You want to see the detail by clicking on preview. These questions will be asked to the supplier. Do you accept the name supplier? full name, country code, main telephone. Once he gives all these details, he will be registered in our account. Anyway, now, as I mentioned yesterday, suppose you want to send to a different email ID, you click on this plus button and add his supplier contact details. This is nothing but a salesman from your supplier. You will be entering all these details and you can decide where you want to send the registration form. If you want to see the supplier contact, you can see this. If you want to change something, you can also click on edit and you can change it. Now I'm going to send. Now you can see the status, registration and invitation is progress. Once it is complete, you can view in registration details. Again, click on the registration tab. Now you will not see that invite button. That means already it started sending an email to the seller. Let's go to the email address of the vendor in registration. Now you can see there is a mail has come from buyer Sen, which is basically the username. In real time, if you are having your account is created with the name, you will be seeing that name is presented here. Once you click on open that mail register supplier with Madam. Madam, your is nothing but our buyer account. We are at the supplier front to supply. The front supplier has received an email which says that who has invited. The buyer will appear here, invited to register to become a supplier with Madam. Start by creating an account with Ariba. It is free. They clearly communicated it. Madam Ariba network to manage sourcing and procurement activities and collaborate with supplier. If Ariba supplier, which is nothing but my supplier name. If you already has an account with Ariba, sign in with your username and password. You don't need to create a new account. If you are new, then you have to click create new account. Copy this link. Copy link address and do not open in the same window where you are opening Ariba Spend Manager. Ariba will be logged out and you have to access either as a buyer or supplier. It is not possible to, in single browser, to act as a both. Let me open in some other browser. Now, whatever we are discussing is the supplier side in real time. This activity will be done by supplier for our testing purposes. We can practice supplier account. Here now see, once I open that link, it is asking me whether I need to sign up or if I already having a login. It is, I can log in also, whichever the way the supplier is having set up. In this case, I do not have an account. I'll be clicking on sign up. These details, which are basic detail which I have entered at the time of creation, basically the company name, country, address, city, zip code, Ariba, seller. Now, someone asked me yesterday how the usernames of a supplier will be used. It is giving the first name of the user, second name of the user, email address. Use my email as my username. You can click on this case. Then automatically you will be using this one. You can create your own username. Maybe if you wish to create some username of your own, you can do that. Most of the cases, we generally use email address as a login name. Enter password. At this stage, supplier is creating an account in Ariba. Here he is going to decide, maybe with limited knowledge. We have added our product and category. At this stage, supplier is going to decide what are the products or services he is offering. He has to go to add or browse. Now let us see he is handling chemicals also. Under chemicals, he is having solvents. Let solvent if you want to select at this stage. Click yes. Solvent has been added. Now he is also into some other. I am randomly selecting something. Create services, advertising agency services also he is supplying. Click on. Now 2 categories of items he is supplying. This is also important. Whenever someone is searching for this vendor with this particular category, this supply will be available. That is the reason. Whatever the product he is supplying, he has to enter in his locations where he can able to ship to. Either he can ship to the entire world or he can ship to particular region also. For example, let us take Asia. I want to select for all South Asia. He will be supplying, it may be out of these countries. If you want to remove something, you can remove also. Removing some. And then click on. Now he has to agree the terms, create an account and continue. And I can just one current one Xbox. We need to find out Alabama zip code. That means if supplier is having any doubt at this stage, generally it is the responsibility of he has to contact Ariba support and get these issues clarified. We have noticed that there may already be an Ariba network registered by your company. Please review before you create a new account. This is again, it is giving it check whether the supplier is already created. Review account, skip review. I don't want. I know this is. I'm going to create a new one. As soon as he completed or he created an account, you can see on the top is showing. Go back to Madam Query dashboard. That means an establishment has already happened between this vendor and this vendor. But this customer, and now we are talking about the supplier, we will be customer. A customer has requested some additional information as a part of a questionnaire for the part of registration. He has to enter the responses before I enter the response. I just want to take you to the home page of the supplier page. Now, here you are seeing Madam Query like that. If I added a sign up instead of signing, if I'm adding a sign, then I can see one more tab is added here with existing customer. You will also see one more tab is added with the supplier. The supplier can click on current, whichever the customer he is dealing. He just needs to click on that tab. Then he can see whatever related Madam Query, related things he can able to find. Under Madam Query, you can see risk assessment, event registration, questionnaires, certificate task. All these things will be avoided in a single dashboard. On top there is a narrow mark. Once you click on that, you will also see Ariba Discovery. Ariba proposals and questionnaires. This is where Ariba spend minimum. Related items are coming. Ariba contracts. Basically, whatever you are the contracts which you are receiving that you can see from here. Business network, where you will purchase orders and all other details. We will go into seeing business network. Now with Ariba proposal and questionnaire. Under that there is a questionnaire and you can also see the status as open. This is open and when it will end 8/3/2023/11 it will end. It is almost 8/3. I don't. Maybe 2 weeks they have kept open. Now I will be opening this questionnaire randomly. You can fill some data. We accept business conduct. Country code. Let's take India. Mobile number. The name. At home. This is all someone has created. Like, as part of our testing, users may be created some random questions. That's why we are seeing this in real time. You'll be having some decent questionnaire. Email address for accounts orders. Email address for Ariba Jailcom. Let's see if we can able to submit. Bank type. Bank name. Just added one file it is asking. Generally, when you are collecting some, this is the place where you're going to collect maximum information from the supplier, which is required for your company. For example, in this case, please attach official supporting document that supports the tax information provided. In India, there is a regulation. You need to find out a GST and a copy. Then you can ask the supplier and you can force him to attach that file also. Now let's click 3.2, that is submitted right. Bank statement. Bank information. To provide answer to question 1.6, main address. B. For I guess. You need to attach answer to free point to attach file. Thank you. Maybe it is expecting a PDF. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We'll give you a final try. Some restrictions they have mentioned, but they are not updated clearly. The value. The internet home page address due to the following. Please provide internet address. Where is that? Google ka. Finally, we were. Now supplier has completed his activity as a supplier registration form he has submitted. Let's go back to Ariba. Ariba seller. Registration. Now he has submitted his form. Now that has to be approved. In order to approve that, see detail. The registration form has to be approved by buyer approval. Approval for inapproval. By clicking on Take Action. I'm clicking on Approve. Approval, click on Done. Let's select internal response. Account type. Non-people vendor. Do you want to apply for design? Reason for blocking supplier. Performance issues. Supply language. English. Reconciliation account. Location. Confirmation control key. Order confirmation. Click on Submit. Input term. In a model value 10 sounds. During registration process, the supplier has provided a supplier the detail and internally that. Internally, team has validated certain additional information as part of the supplier profile. Now you can see there is an approval task has come again. We click on that approval task. You just verify like whatever the details which have just entered, I approve it. Test approval. Click on Approve. Click on Done. Now you can see the supplier has been completely registered. And we have registered supplier. Now supplier has supplier account is available. Whenever we started communicating, we can communicate with the supplier using this supplier. Now you can also see there is one more column which is added. View SP business profile. Whatever the details which supplier has entered that you can see from here by clicking on the link. This is basically new feature is added in your supplier 360 profile. If you want to see public information of that supplier that you can able to see from this by accessing from this link. Let's see what is the detail it is providing. Now, when I click the profile, this is the supplier profile. These details are entered by the supplier which we have not entered. But you want to see what he has entered. Then you can able to click on supplier profile. This is basically the supplier has during the creation he has entered. What for example, at the time of supply creation, I have entered this location, these categories. Maybe you will not be knowing whether he can able to locate the other supplier. You can view that information. This is one more feature. They have been added as part of this 360-degree profile. Instead of limited knowledge, what you have with the supplier, you can see. And also what he has posted over a public profile, that also you can able to view this. A supplier at the time of he created, he will be having in an ID. I will show you that profile. That is, as soon as he creates a user account, automatically his NNID link here. You can see this. As soon as he click it, he will be having the NND. You can see the number here ending with 8822T. T stands for test account. That is the reason he will be seeing it. The same NNID is now updated. If you remember, at the time of creation, you will be not having this information as empty. Now, once the relationship is established, ANID has been updated, you can also in simple process. You don't need to send any questionnaire. Also, as soon as he registered, that is more than enough for you. Then you will be sending very basic questionnaire. We just have how many employees, how many years in business, and what is your field turnover. That is more than enough to get also. Just for practice purpose and students, many people are using this account. They have created that much of questionnaire, but in real time you will not be having this much questionnaire as required. Why we want to verify from the supplier side? That is again, it is not limited. Maybe there may be some of our clients. They are very specific about supplier information. Those will be asking a lot of details in real time, or majority of the cases even we don't see. And if you are frankly speaking, in whatever the software projects I have handled, they are not even using Ariba as an onboarding tool because the business is already running in. For example, your company called Badger Paints. They are implementing Ariba's pain management. They are already into the business for almost 30 years. Again, you will be sending a questionnaire to the supplier whom you are dealing with 30 years and asking me, hey, what is your name? What is your bank name? Then they will offer. In real time, this is, nobody will use this one. They will be uploading directly the data in your master file as the supplier information. And even this information is also not required. You don't need to collect this registration process also. How that will be doing that? I will be explaining it. How you will be putting a supplier with all this detail. You can even there the status. Also you can mention as a registered. Then you don't know this activity. Once supplier like Badger Paints or any of the client is already created. Sorry, they have the systems ready. New supplier onboarding. You can use this option for existing supplier. You can directly onboard into the system without having questionnaires asked. Now, I will just another 10 minutes. I'll take 5 minutes to show you where we are going to do. This is a consultant activity. Click on Home. Or you can direct access from main niche. Main niche templates. And here you will be having different templates are available. What we are going to see is supplier request template. New version created on supplier. What is this? He has created a quick links. Let's open that. The main niche, click on Open. Request. Basically, this is what someone has created this as a sourcing request, but he created the name as the supplier request. How come? There is a clearly difference between supply this request and sourcing request. This is in source request. He created a form and he kept it. This is running permission. When we talk about template in supply side, you can only create only one template only. You need to keep on edit only. But as in sourcing and contract, you can create multiple templates because the template is going for an external purpose. The system will not take what template has to be changed in those in the request and contract request, and that is the internal. We are going to say someone going to access and able to do that. But in supplier request and supply registration, that is the difference. You will only have one template. You keep on edit that template and make the changes. I'm just changing this version. It is a sourcing request, but someone has created as a supplier. There is a clearly different sourcing request is sourcing related one and supplier request is different. I'm just changing it. To avoid confusion for other users, this will be same request. We are not started the sourcing. Once we started the sourcing, you will be understanding more of this. Same request demo. Just a cleanup, I just did ignore whatever I have done now. Again, in real time, you will not be having these many templates. You will be having only a few templates. Supplier registration, the questions. I'll quickly show you how the template looks like where we are going to do that by going again to the supplier management. Registration now, Ariba seller in approved. Once you go to the registration, you will be seeing that Ariba seller here. And then you will have to see under Ariba seller. He is also registered and going to the qualification, that the next level. I think it is not started. It is not there, or we can search also anyway. Registration. I'm selecting the Ariba seller. Quest. Once we complete it, we will not be seeing it. You can see this advanced view, a gear button. This process is still. One more step is pending. That's why it is waiting. And it is showing us to do that by clicking on this advanced view. It will take you to the template from where the back data or the source data is coming from. This is, you can see in Ariba. Upstream, all the things are called as the projects only. You see, this is supplier registration project, supplier registration for Ariba seller. This will be created automatically as soon as we click on this one. That project name will be Supplier Ariba. Registration for Ariba seller. When you go to the Documents tab, Company Code Extension Internal Supplier Registration. Now this is kept open. If you see this company code extension, this is a kind of a form. Repair monitor. Monitor. Here actually nothing is there. Internal Supplier Registration Monitor. If you remember, at the second stage, I have edited some information. There is initially these values that already filled by someone, but we changed some values here. What are all those values you can able to see from this form as a consultant? We can able to get it by going to the relevant template. This is the place how you manage your template. This form, you will be editing it. Whatever unnecessary things you can remove it. Whatever required ones, you can keep it also. I'll be opening this external questionnaire. This is what the supplier is facing. Questionnaire which we send to supply refuse. Remember main address. And it is asking me in 3.2, please attach official documents. This details, view details. Why it got stuck up for us is it is expecting something. Participation required. Please attach the official supporting document. Yes, required. Suppose you do not want this to be compulsory information. You can come to this questionnaire, edit it and mark this questionnaire as not required or not compulsory. In that case, it will not ask the supplier to mandate, really forcing to enter certain information. Don't think that it's the simple make, like you know the process of supplier. That's why you can able to sync with this one for a new person who is new to the supplier management. Don't think this is a complicated or something. But in reality the more information you collect, that will be useful at a later date. that once we get an experience, only will be knowing. For example, one purchase organization is having this vendor created all the vendors in one purchase organization. They will get confused. That has to be distributed among different areas. The supplier is created for certain departments. For them, that is more than access. Whenever they're dealing, they just deal only with those suppliers only. The supplier classification time. This will be useful. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.